Welcome to Spiritual and Sassy, the podcast where we bleed deep soul wisdom with authentic confidence.
We're your host,
Tressa
and Myra, and together we'll explore the mystical side of life, challenge societal norms and programming, and embrace our inner power.
Whether you're on a spiritual journey or just love a little sass, this space is for you.
Let's dive in and light up the world with a little more love.
Hey!
Hey! I about to say good morning.
It's not morning.
Nowhere near morning. I'm like, I don't even know where that came from, but good morning to someone. Maybe if someone's listening to this in the morning.
Someone could be, someone's waking up. Yes. Just another part of the world.
Yeah, enjoy your morning. At least
it's definitely afternoon.
Yeah, it's totally afternoon.
Yeah.
Very deeply afternoon.
We haven't got to talk to each other in like a week or so, 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah. And I was getting ready today and I'm like, oh, Tressa, we'll talk about how often I think of Tressa. But like, yeah, she just like flew through my mind and I'm like, I wonder what she wants to talk about today. Because it's been so long. I was like, I know. I don't even know. Does she even like me? You know, not really. But, you know, I was like, does she even want to talk? Like, but it was just like, we get in such a rhythm with like recording and, you know, and it was good. Honestly, last week there was a lot of emotions, but there was a good amount of, I had specifically time off due to like a company holiday. And then I took a Friday off. So I had a very long weekend. So it was a restful, like I didn't have a lot of priorities or anything going on. So it was nice. It was a nice little reprieve.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. My week was not that.
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite. Yeah. I was at CFD, Cheyenne Frontier Days, for 10 days, and I'm still pretty tired if I'm being honest. Yeah. So that's why we couldn't record. We had to record a couple before I left. But yeah, long days. It's fun. Some great people there. Love the people that I meet there. But yeah, it was a lot. I was on all the time. That's what exhausts me, is being on all the time, because I need to have my downtime and my alone time to replenish. Yeah, and you just don't get that there.
It's really hard. It's hard. Like I think the stressful part about it is like time flies, and it does. This weird bubble. It's kind of like not a vacation bubble, because it's not a vacation, but you know, in the vacation bubble where time just like floats and you're like, well, I don't even know what day it is. And like, here I am and I'm just going, and you know, it's kind of like that. And you know, when my husband would come, or you know, I brought my niece that one year, and like people, and you've brought friends, and maybe they feel very similar, but they're always looking at me like, oh, why don't we just go and like sit or do something? I don't even know. Like they want to just sit. And I'm like, there is no sitting. Like you wake up, and then I would do some work for like the normal job that I'm hired to do, you know, or like whatever you need to do, and try to do some of your own personal space stuff. And then like by 10 a.m. you're already moving on to start getting ready to go. Then there's a whole 4-hour block of being there. Then there's only like a 1 to 2 hour window, if that.
Yeah. And then you're back.
Yeah. You go to dinner and then you're back. And then you just wake up, and it's just like Groundhog Day. That's what I call it, Groundhog Day. Yeah. But like, you know, like when you, in a normal day or work day, if you compare it to that, you come home and you rest, and there's like the downtime. You're right. But it's just crazy because you're always just thinking about it, and like, I don't know, your body goes into like turbo mode. I don't know. I really think that like there should be a badge like
turbo mode.
Like,
I like it.
I did the Cheyenne Frontier Days marathon. Like they should, if anyone hears me, or you can suggest it, like there needs to be like a club. Like I've participated in the Cheyenne Frontier Days marathon. And
I love that. It's so that's true.
What it really is. Yeah.
It's funny because you're right. So this is the first year Myra and I haven't done this event together.
Yeah.
So I was a solo artist, and I was so proud of myself. I did it all by myself. I only messed up one thing.
I'm very proud.
One thing.
I'm very
proud. And
proud.
that was getting us in the parade, but I fixed it. We were in. Didn't know that was my job.
And the mess
of all the things. The one thing my boss loves.
I know. I'm like, I know what that means. Like, oh God.
Thank goodness. Like we're there Friday evening, and we're at the night show. We're sitting there before the night show starts, and I said something like, so like you entered you're in the parades, right? He's like, well, I don't do any of that. Oh, am I supposed to do that? Yes, I am. Thank God I know. Thank God I've done this now for 5 years, so I have contacts. We fixed it. But out of all the things, Myra, that was the only thing I missed. I say it was successful.
That is very successful, but that is so funny. That makes me feel good on the inside a little bit. Like, Tressa is human. Tressa's human.
Tressa's human. Tressa is very human.
I would have like probably been like sent to the slaughterhouse. No, that's I'm laughing. It's not shitty, but it is funny because like there's only like one thing. There's like a couple things, but that's one thing that is like top priority. Don't forget, you have to register for a parade for homecoming too.
Okay,
that is your responsibility.
I am also so weird. Like my personality. This is what I'm paid to do, and I'll do it. But I'm not a parade person. I don't like them. I never have.
No.
So I feel like because I have that energy in my personal space, I just block it from my existence.
I get it. I will confidently admit on this podcast, I've never been to a Shine Frontier Days parade.
Yeah.
I've never been, and I've never taken Magnolia. I think Blake might have, but I'm not a big parade person either personally, and I don't find the excitement of them. And so like it was a hard concept. To me, it felt second fiddle compared to the gravity of the rest of the stuff you have to put together. So I get it, but I see why it was a win.
So we survived, and then normally I take Monday off, and I wasn't able to take the full day, and it was really interesting because today's Wednesday, so last night, no, the night before, Monday night, I just hit a wall. Like it was like maybe 9:45, and I just sat on my couch, and I could feel my body like just pure exhaustion. I couldn't move them. I was just like, I gotta go to bed. It just finally hit me. All of that time, just being busy and all of the energy. Just hit me. It's a lot.
And you're dealing with so many people and different types of people and people there cutting loose or schmoozing. Like it's a lot of energies mixed. It's just a lot.
So anyway, so speaking of energies, and last week, one of the topics I told Myra I wanted to chat about today was ego energy. And we've talked about ego energy a couple times on a few of our episodes. I think we did one not too long ago about ego death.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. I was sharing with Myra, like, being at this major event, being kind of in the spotlight of this, in my other job, like, we're Premier, the title sponsor of this major event. I just was recognizing how easy it was for me to go into my ego energy, to like be back into that ego. And how I had to pay so much attention. That first few days I started to recognize, wow, you're really in your ego energy, like, and having to pay a lot of attention to keep myself grounded, to like show up for the way that I want to present myself to the world, not the way that maybe other people expect me to. To really own my authenticity, even in a space that isn't a space that I would choose to be. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be something I would do all the time. And it was a good lesson for me, and it was humbling because when I kind of recognized how much I was going into my ego energy, that next day I just got up and just went outside and grounded in the grass and put an intention out there, like to the universe, like, okay, I see it. This isn't how I want to show up. I want to show up in humility and love and generosity and authenticity, and it was really funny because I was like, okay, show me a sign that I'm going to be okay with this. And as soon as I said that, this cool butterfly come flying through, yellow and black. Yeah. And it was from that moment on, I was really able to be around these people, be around, what people would call major players in our state, I guess. And truly just be in my space, be who I was. And, people are drawn to that. People, I still had great conversations, but I wasn't I didn't have to go into my ego. I didn't have to go into this false image of who I was.
Yeah.
But without that recognition, the rest of the week probably really would have exhausted me even more.
Yeah.
Because I would have been not kind of. When you go into your ego energy, you're playing small. You are playing small because you're giving up who you are.
Yeah.
You're playing the game that somebody else wants you to play instead of the game that you want to be in. You know? And so it was one of the things that I felt was really a blessing from it. It was a good reminder, a good side of a shadow that I still needed to see, that I needed to do some work on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so easy, especially in those types of situations where like we've talked on it, I think the last episode, the preparation to like put on an event like this, like you're bringing all that there, it's kind of like that, the exhale, and the exhale is the event. And so when you're there and you're around these different energies and you're around these different people, and this is applicable to any other situation, like when you've really put a lot into something, I think it's so easy to go into your ego. Like as I'm reflecting back, like I can think of many times I was in ego energy, or even in, like, this sounds terrible, but I mean, it's the truth. Like I remember people would come and like visit the box and would just kind of like talk to me about marketing. And I'd be like, what the fuck do you know? And that's awful. And like even being in that energy, and especially in this place, because like the work that you do, the preparatory work, the staging, the setup, when you're in this type of thing, it's all on display. So it's very easy to, you should be proud and you should be confident, but it's easy to slip into ego, especially when like you're the mama of the damn box. And you really are the fucking queen. Like, and everything, there's not a decision that doesn't go through you at some point. So that's also very easy. You're in a state of power, you're in a state of control, and then you want things to go well. And like, I remember even just being in that situation and just honestly like going into ego energy a lot. And then you get kind of like competitive. I mean, and I don't even know who I was competing with, but I personally was like competitive with other sponsors or like people that would come visit, like, like, I don't know, I didn't like sound like that. Like I didn't like,
you hit it well. It was inside though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My body didn't like do that because I have emotional intelligence, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
I do.
And you are the top sponsor, but it's just a big exhale. And like, it's so easy to just like, trust me, it's like the least fucking thing that I enjoyed at that job. Like it is the last thing that I enjoyed. The nights were fun and things like that were fun, but it is literally could have been eliminated and I would not have shed a tear. It was just, though, there's just so much blood, sweat, and tears put into it, and then you're there every single fucking day, and like if you didn't do shit, it would not happen. And so like it's easy to slip into that. It's so easy, but I think that it's so cool that you recognized it. And I think like especially the last year or so, I didn't go into ego like that as much. The first year, 100%. I know absolutely 100%. The first year I did it, and it was like I had done it and nobody was there. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on. You know what I mean? Like I definitely was in ego. The last year or so, definitely not. Like it's that backpedal feeling.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things though, like being able to fully recognize it and then correct it in public and in real time, and not in public, but like in real time, you know, like you can do it in real time. That awareness shifted your whole week.
Yeah, it did. I mean, that's the key to everything is awareness. We talk about that all the time. But I was grateful for that awareness.
Yeah.
And that I had a way to not only become aware, but tools that I could use to change my energy, right?
Yeah.
And say, this isn't this isn't how Tressa wants to show up.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to allow myself to continue to do something if that's not who I want to be, right?
Yeah.
Like you said some words like proud and confident, and those are interesting things. Yes, I want to be confident, but I want to be confident for who I am.
Exactly.
Truly, right?
Truly.
My authenticity.
Yeah.
Not what the perception of the event or the people around you might expect from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where it was helpful to shift,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you used the word proud, and I thought, I mean, I guess I was proud that I only messed up one thing.
No,
I was proud of that because,
it's a lot.
this is the first time I've done it completely solo.
Exactly. There's a whole different
So
feeling.
I
Exactly. When
was
it's
proud
just
of
you.
that.
Yeah.
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 I definitely was, and I could fix my mistake. I knew what I
Yeah.
was, but that's just part of learning, you know,
Exactly.
after doing it for, this is the fifth year,
Yeah.
fourth year or something. So, you're learning as you go.
Yeah.
So thank goodness I had some tribal knowledge thanks to Myra's training.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And it's that sense of like when you do it solo and when we do things like when we put our heart and soul into something, like I said, it's probably this the last thing I cared about the job. But when you put
Mm,
your heart and soul in it to like really get it right,
yeah.
and like I remember my first year and I was alone doing it and I had no one to tell me tribal knowledge. Like it didn't exist. And so
Yeah.
I made it up. I made up a
Yeah.
whole new redesign and it was the whole first year doing that 10-day stretch. And so because I came up, you know what I mean? Like there was a whole lot of
Hmm.
emotions around it. So my first year I was totally an ego. After that it settled. But like because then it's like, oh, this is just what the fuck ever, like whatever.
Yeah.
But I get it. I get it 100%. And, like even last week, I went through a lot of them. I was telling Trista, like, I went through several different emotions last week that I hadn't really felt in a long time. Like, I went through the emotion of shame. I went through the emotion of guilt. I went through, I really questioned my worthiness. I had a lot of self doubt about myself and what I'm doing. Like, I used really hard language, like, am I pathetic? Like I really
Mm,
questioned myself. So I had a lot of those energies on a different side of the spectrum of the ego because I was going through the societal pressures of what should I be doing right now in my life around like my home life, my family life, my finances, where I'm at. And I started doing a lot of it was comparison too. Like I'm comparing, I'm doing all these things and I started feeling like really anxious and like the dust is starting to settle and like in the real this was a bubble. I'm very visual. So, like, if you could just imagine like a bubble around you, and in that moment, and especially around that time period of those, for me, it was only like a day or two. Imagine the bubble, and then these emotions penetrated inside this bubble. So, I had all these feelings around me in this bubble. But outside of the bubble, what was really going on, the reality of it is beautiful and truly free and joyous and happy and the right path forward and the momentum and things are really like unfolding beautifully. But in the bubble, I couldn't see past that because the other emotions were clouding it. And so it was a very foggy bubble. And so it took me some time. I definitely was very self aware. And, I even like talked to Blake about it. I was like, hey, I'm feeling this way. I haven't felt this way in a long time. And he's like, you know what? I felt that way too. And, I think a lot of the energy around what we were going through last week was evil energy. I think that it was
hmm.
meant to be shameful. It was intended to make us feel small and to feel pathetic. It was meant to make us feel that way. And then like once we popped the bubble and, I meditated, I really spent a ton of time in prayer, especially last week. I mean, I do every day, but a lot of
Hmm.
prayer to just really calm my feelings too, like to just really send love to me and to just really send love to Blake and the situation and all parties involved and what we're going through and things I felt started to shift. Like emotions started to shift, joy started coming back and the bubble popped, right? But it really showed a few things for me too, like have I really worked through the emotion of self-worth and like what is my self-worth and have I really worked through tying my identity and my emotions to that level of ego? Have I actually really and, for me, it was no, I haven't worked through it all the way. Like, I'm not really fully there. But my vibration dipped just like really low last
Hmm.
week.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I love what you're talking about with the bubble. We talked about this in a few episodes back about, I think we did constrictive energy
Yeah.
versus
Yep.
expansive energy.
Yep.
And I mean, that's a great analogy. The bubble is constrictive energy,
Yep.
right? And so, like, I've been talking to a lot of my clients about this, like just starting to recognizing your own body, your own feeling.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel tight? Do you feel,
Yeah.
like you said, a bubble? If you do feel that way, your energy is in constrictive energy.
Yeah.
And when you can feel that, it's powerful, because it's like, good decisions are not made there, right?
No.
Don't be making decisions.
Yeah.
But also, one of the tools I use is when I start to feel that way, sometimes you have a problem.
Yeah.
Right? And you feel that constrictive energy around the problem, because we go into our logical minds.
Yeah.
And we only know this little limited view on the solution to the problem. Right? And instead of thinking about it through that constrictive lens, if you just start to push your energy out, like I'll literally push my energy out of my body, usually starting at my heart, like you can even use light.
Yeah.
Like all of your energy moving out of your body, all the different directions as far as you can feel it. And I just ask that, the expansive energy bring me whatever's for my highest good in that situation.
Yeah.
Because my little monkey mind is so constrictive, and that's a great analogy. I love your bubble analogy. But also, like, we all have work to do.
Yeah.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly.
I mean, God, I hope one day I'm enlightened, but
yeah.
You and I we're on this podcast every week talking about this stuff, and we try to have huge amounts of awareness. And we just both talked about, me going into full on ego for a day or two, and you going into a shame spiral, it happens to people. But the more that you can look at where you're at and use some of the tools that we've talked about, or whatever works for you, the better off you are, and the less that you'll do it. I've found that the more that I can switch myself out of it quicker, or recognize where I'm at, the less time I stay in it, and the less often I go to those spaces. Yeah. But I mean, it is, there's a huge collective energy out there that, some of the stuff you were feeling, the collective consciousness had a lot to do with it. And similar to me, because I was around this massive energy of hundreds of thousands of people's energy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Right? That had something to do with it, right? So when I travel, I think about that. I always have a lot of protection around me, because we're always exchanging energy forms. And so the larger the group that you're around, or the larger the collective energy believes in one aspect, the more it will impact us.
Yeah.
No matter what it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. I love that. So I'm okay now. But boy, it was.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
But that's part of it. And, that you're right. We live in real time, and this is real life. These are the experiences that we go through, just like everybody else and the people that listen. I don't have it all figured out.
I mean, we're in the game of life, people.
Exactly.
It's going to have peaks and valleys and ups and downs. And yeah. It's so interesting as humans. Like, I think we're so conditioned to believe that our joy comes from when things are easy and things aren't hard, and things are, going well. I'm using quotations because whatever the fuck that means, right?
Yeah.
But there's absolutely zero progression in that space.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And in fact, so many people stay in that space because of comfortability. So they're actually in that space in the energy of fear more than anything. But yet that comfortability, because things are easy, is so addictive, right? That's what I call the devil. I don't think the devil's down there with horns and fire and brimstone. I think that's the devil. In fact, I was listening to a podcast where they were talking about calling it Maya, right?
Okay. Not to be confused with Myra?
No, not to be confused with Myra. Myra is the devil. No, Maya.
Don't tell my husband.
Maya energy, I think, is what they were calling it. But the energy of that allure, right? Yeah. It's, I can't remember what culture it was from.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Like that emotion, it's like that instant gratification high, and I think about even like, I've talked about it a million times, like the shopping addiction. That's an easy one to talk about. Like the instant gratification of clicking purchase now and the package coming. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's an instant dopamine hit. So I get
Yeah.
it. I think I can
Yeah.
totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. Well, we have another topic that we thought we'd talk about today.
Which is way better.
Way better. And, we're going to talk about it. It's a little nerve-wracking because it could be an interesting one for people to hear about, but it's about sexual energy, but specifically masturbation. So I laugh because I'm like, hey, Myra, we always talk about, what do we want to talk about today? And I'm like, okay, I have 3 topics: ego, masturbation, and this goddess named Kali. And as soon as I said masturbation, Myra bursts out laughing. I'm like, well, okay, so I have been prescribing masturbation to a lot of my clients, and that's why it came to me to maybe talk about it. But the reason I do that is because everything is created through our sacral energy, right? And the sacral energy is where our sexual organs exist. And when we think about the power of what sexual energy brings, think about worlds are destroyed around sexuality. They're built around sexuality.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful energy. And so the reason that I prescribe masturbation to my clients is for them to tune into their own power of their sexual energy through the tool of masturbation and breath.
Yes.
Right? That's it. You're focused on the act of the masturbating and your breath. And most of us, when we have orgasms, have them from our lower chakra down, our root chakra down.
Yeah.
And what this teaches, what I encourage my clients to do, is use the energy of the sexual power and bring your orgasm through your breath up through your chakra system. Yeah. So eventually, as you learn to do it, you start to have the release of what we call orgasm through your chakra system. You could even start from the crown down.
Yeah.
And once you start to understand the power of the energy within your own energy body, then you can start to use it for manifestation, and you can start to bring it into a relationship with a partner if you choose, right? But you first have to understand it for yourself.
Yes.
So Myra laughed because I think I prescribed this to her a few months ago.
Yeah. I laugh because as soon she did. And so I laughed when she said it because I told her, I'm like, yeah, and guess what? Every time I fucking masturbate, I think about Tressa. And so it's not like, oh, Tressa. I mean, trust me, Tressa's smoking hot. But like, I think I'm like a million miles a minute type of gal. Shit fucking flies through my brain. Like meditating is an art for me. Like it's like a freaking, like I gotta, like really zero out. You know what I mean? So same thing with masturbation. Like you're thinking of all sorts of shit, right? Like whatever, here we go. And yeah, Tressa definitely flies through my mind, and she has for the last couple times. And so that's why I started laughing. Like I was like, oh my God, now we're gonna ruin everybody else. I'm just kidding. Everybody's gonna be like, Tressa. Like so all her clients, like they'll probably never tell her, but they are definitely
will not admit this.
No, but they're fucking 100% thinking about Tressa in the moment.
Just because it's Tressa said.
Tressa said, I know. That's me. I like walk around. Tressa said, yeah. But when she told me this though, like honestly, because it was during a time, and like I've obviously mentioned it on this podcast, but like I've been going through some different things in transition, and like, I was like, oh, that's so interesting. But it made so much sense to me just like instantly because like one, I know like for just even the art of an orgasm, one is to, especially for women, a lot of that is centered around surrender. Like you are relinquishing control. Yeah. Like I've had friends tell me that they only allow themselves to have orgasms, which is just a little mind-boggling for me, but that's not what I'm unpacking. But that just ties back in the sense of control and like true release and true surrender. So to surrender to release, but also to like an orgasm, you're really connecting with your body, and especially in masturbation, and like you're really like trying to hone in on like mind, body, soul. I feel like, especially in that practice. And like I had read some things about it when Tressa mentioned it because I was like, wow, that's so freaking interesting. And I agreed with it 100%. Like it was like not even a question. I'm like, duh, and two things came up. So one, when I was reading about it, when you are orgasming, you are in your peak vibrational state. And that made a lot of sense to me too, because I've read like, and having an orgasm is healing, like the cells in your body, like there's a lot of research around it. I don't know enough to sit here and talk about it fully, but it's like the cells in your body regenerate. Like there's a whole lot of thing around it. It's like this life source type thing. So it's made a lot of sense when Tressa mentioned it. But then second is your breath. And I think about like one, when I've done this, or not even like intentionally after Tressa mentioned it, but when I started thinking back, when my breath is very different, I have felt, orgasms in my head or orgasms in my heart, like up through here, like totally different spaces. And it's so interesting because I had watched a show once. It was on Netflix, so it's not like I'm out here with my Pornhub subscription, but maybe, but whatever.
We don't judge you, Myra.
I know, there's no judgment, but it was on Netflix and it was really interesting, like this sexual, I don't even know what the hell she was. Like but she taught people about orgasms and like masturbation and like partners. And it was a very interesting show. But the coolest thing I took away from it though was breath. When we think about what people tell you should happen in sex, or what porn says should happen in sex, or what you think should happen in sex, like she talked about like how women are like, sorry, like
honestly,
like don't take my sound bite, but you know what I mean. You get it. An excessive amount of fake panting. Yes. That was enough for everyone.
Yeah.
Okay,
we got it.
You got it. That is bullshit. And she said that. She's like, you should never be out of breath having sex. Not like that. That right. Is like suffocation. Like that's your body's in like fight or flight shit. Like that's not even a relaxed state for a person. Like now, if you're out of breath for other reasons, that's different. Like that's an activity level. But that like weird shortness of breath, the panting, the over exaggerated, that's very theatrical. And like honestly, like I need a sip of water and like a decompression from just doing that just now. Like that was just awful. Like I don't feel, you know what I mean? Like that was horrible. So like as soon as Tressa mentioned like through the breath, I'm like, oh my God. And it made me think about that show. And she said that when you need to fully breathe, you need to really like, it's through breath, it's through the movement, it's through the connection, it's through this or through that. And it just totally changes the way your body responds. And like truly, once my orgasms have completely shifted, and they started shifting too, especially after I had acupuncture. I mentioned this to a friend, but I said, I'm like, this is so bizarre. And so like, I don't know if something in my body became more aligned or something opened up. I don't know, but it completely shifted. And I stopped having them in the lower parts of my body or in the lower chakra system, or whichever way you want to look at it here.
Yeah.
And it started bringing them up. It like completely changed. And it's very interesting. And I can tell a difference between, whether it be masturbation or whether it be with my partner, whatever orgasm I'm having, there's a difference when I'm not spiritually connected to what is happening with me in my body.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you're spot on. Like we have been taught through pornography and different things of what sex should look like as women specifically.
Yeah.
And just what you were talking about, like when you think about that rapid breathing or that short breath, you're in contractive energy.
Yeah.
Right. And so it contracts your ability to have a full orgasm, right? To express fully. And when you focus on the breath, like I have taught some of my clients, like when you're focusing on breathing fully, it's an expansive energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's what allows the energy or the vibration to shift through the entire body.
Yeah.
And I just think, there's so much power in that expression. And there's been so much societal damage to our sexuality.
Yeah.
So much from all different areas, religion, right?
Yeah.
There's shame around it.
Yeah.
And I just think this is why we have so much sexual misuse of sexuality, right?
I
You
agree.
have sexual molestation. I mean,
Yep,
I've shared that with my story
exactly.
many times on this
Yeah,
because these people are taught that it's bad and you can't fight something that you're physiologically supposed to express. Right.
exactly.
And so they have to find other avenues. And so I think the more that we can talk about healthy sex and
Mhm.
healthy way to express sex, and you learning it for yourself first,
Yeah,
how and honoring it for yourself, right?
yeah,
Like, how do you honor your own body?
yeah,
Well, you start to tune into your body, right? And that's why, when I've talked to my clients about this, and I've said, I encourage you to do it this way and
yeah,
not with a tool. And, that's overstimulating. It's not a natural space to express. And
yeah.
you know what? You don't need to have an orgasm in 1 second. You
No,
take 15 minutes, enjoy yourself,
yeah,
maybe it takes 30, I don't know. But like we're in such this, I have to have this happen in X amount of time because of
time.
all these
Yeah,
programmings and images that we've been inundated with. And it's been interesting for myself. It's completely shifted my orgasms. It's completely shifted the way that I can when I use it for manifestation tool, it's unbelievable how quickly stuff comes to me.
yeah, exactly.
And I've had my clients who I've had been working with that have tried it say the same exact things.
Yeah,
Like it's a powerful tool when it's used with the right energy behind it and in
yeah,
the right ways,
yeah,
right? And so that's why I wanted to talk about it today because I think there's such stigma around it and we've got to start to break those walls down,
yeah,
and you can't do that if you're not willing to talk about things that people bring shame around. And I think there's absolutely nothing shameful about expressing your sexuality in a healthy way, in whatever makes you happy, right?
exactly. Yeah,
But I think that's why masturbation is important. You don't understand your own body,
yeah,
and then you meet a partner and then you expect them to understand your body.
yeah,
How is that even possible?
yeah. And then
You
add
know,
in they don't understand their
and they don't
body. Yeah,
understand their
I
body.
was like,
Yeah. And you're both acting out the images that you saw,
so
and you're like, this is,
yeah,
oh, this is it? Oh,
yeah,
fun.
yeah, like yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
So,
then it puts like it's very interesting because like it made me think about just like the weird expectations we put on people and we
mm-hmm,
put on things and like especially around sexuality and especially around a sexual partnership with another person, like
mm-hmm.
what does that look like? And like you just said it, like you don't know what you're doing, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they even really want, or they think they know what they want, but they expect you to know what they want, but no one's talking or communicating or,
Yeah.
like there's a whole level of that too to open up. That's a whole nother can of worms. But like you're right, like it's these expectations that you just think people are going to magically know. And I know that's a lot of what happens between partnerships or marriages or relationships, whatever, where they don't feel like their needs are met.
Yeah. But how do you have somebody meet
Exactly.
your needs when you don't know what
Don't
your needs
even
are?
exactly.
So that's why I say start with self.
Yeah.
Start with your self exploration, really using the expansive breath while you're doing it. That's your key to everything is your breath,
Yeah.
right? Even and in those, and you're absolutely right. Like it is a whole different level of vibration, and that's why the manifestation or the creation from that sexual energy is so powerful.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because you are in fully surrender, fully vulnerable, and fully present state.
Yeah.
When you're in that, when you're having an orgasm, I promise you, I'm not
Yeah.
thinking about what the hell I'm going to cook for dinner. That shit ain't on my mind, right? Like it does bring you into the present moment,
Yeah.
right, in a very powerful way.
hmm I
So I
think
think that's part
also
of it.
yeah, and also
Yeah.
too like think about your subconscious. Like you're already in a more open and receptive state of mind
Mm-hmm.
when you are ready to reach your peak orgasm, when you're there, when it's happening. And so there you're more open than you are like you and I just talking right now. But also too, like I mentioned, it is a life force. Like
It is.
that is
Mm-hmm.
literally the act of an orgasm, the act of sexual nature, whatever it is intended to create life.
Mm-hmm.
that goes back to what I was talking about. Like, you're in a life force energy already too. So like when you're in that energy, you're just coupling that energy with your manifestation energy. And so I think that's also why it's such a force for bringing in abundance or whatever it is. I'm saying abundance because it's in your sacral, like bringing
whatever,
in that,
yeah,
whatever it is. Yeah. Like whatever it is, bringing into that manifestation.
yeah. It's interesting. If I work with clients I've worked with a few clients who have struggled with getting pregnant, one of my pieces of advice to them is if you can orgasm at the same time as your partner, your chances of conception are basically 100% most of the time if you're ovulating.
Yeah.
Like, that's the power of the two energies, the feminine and the masculine, coming together in that respect, right? And I had one client like, huh? Yeah, that probably is going to solve your problem. Nobody even thinks about that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like how the two should, if they connect in the divine timing of that, think about the life force that you're talking about times two.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty impressive.
I can confirm, at least for one of mine, that's what happened. So.
See?
And I was psychotic as fuck about that pregnancy. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, I was defying gravity. And it definitely happened. So, yeah, both of us. But it did. And I conceived, yeah. So, sorry, Blake. But yeah, that's...
Don't listen, Blake.
Yeah, he doesn't. So, but anywho, you're right. I mean, I can say that happened for me.
Yeah. And also one of the things that I think we can learn through this process is your orgasm so full when you can learn your body and use your breath. The time that it lasts can be extensive, you know? You could be in it for much longer than just a few seconds. Like those were mine before, you know, now it's sometimes a minute even. Yeah. And that life force is there for longer and longer. And that energy and that high vibration is there longer and longer, the more that you can be in that moment and allow that expression. You don't have to rush through it. That's one of the other things I've learned since practicing this myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah. These are all good things, people. You're going to love us. Start practicing.
Yeah. Go enjoy yourself. We have no notes. Just go enjoy yourself. See you next breath. Yeah, see you next week.
So, anyway, yeah, those were the two things I had. Anything before we end today?
I don't think so. I think we went through a heavy topic to a fun topic.
Yeah. I think actually the fun topic is the heavy topic.
Yeah, you're right.
Because most people are not comfortable talking about it.
No.
You know, I don't find it heavy, but I think a lot of people do.
I don't find it heavy. I'm like, this is funny.
It was funny.
You'll think of Tressa. Think of Tressa.
You'll think of Tressa. I mean, if people are going to think of me, I hope it's in a blissful way.
If you have, I need like a part of a commission. If clients admit to you that they think of you, open the door.
I opened the door. That authenticity opened the door. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, it's been great. This was a great
I like our little taboo topics.
Yeah, me too.
So until next time, masturbate with your breath and keep your vibrations way high.
And stay sassy while doing it, I guess.